I'm showing you guys my Discord chat. This is what we allow access to the people who take our courses. I don't just let people jump into the Discord and try to follow my ideas, because that never ever has worked well with any other Forex group, and that's why we never did that. You have to take the courses to get into this group chat. The reason why I'm showing this to you is because I want you to see how I shared my trade ideas throughout this idea on Friday morning. In the morning, come in every single day and I show everyone, hey, I'm here. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Right? We're going to scroll up here. You can see January 15th is the date right there. Morning team. Does it give me a time on this? Yep, 5:51 in the morning. So I was a little bit late to the chart, but that's because I don't hold myself to like any expectation. Like if I wake up at 5:15, I still have to meditate, still have to get my coffee, still got to take a shit, still got to do these other things that I have to do before I get to the desk. So sometimes I'm not here at 5 o'clock. I'm here at 5:40 or 5:30, whatever it is. This morning, which was Friday morning, the first thing I saw that I liked was this Euro USD setup. This Euro USD set up here on the 15-minute chart and the 1-minute chart is actually marked off right here on the 15-minute chart on my trading view. So I'm using the replay tool here to take us back in time to show you where I took the entry and where my risk was at this time. It's actually a little bit lower than that. So let's go back to the Discord chat. You can see what I said to everybody. First thing I see this morning is Euro USD. I really liked the position that this was in after seeing it move down all week. And that's what I was explaining to everybody as the morning went on. So what I did was I actually marked the ASFX entry, because here we have the D1 and the A1, and you'll see that in my notes as we talk about it. We have an A1 candle formation, and we have a D1 on the 1 minute. So when we get both entry signals together, you have a strong confirmation that you have a probable trade setup. So if we go to my chart, you can see the trend, this downtrend, really started on Monday. You can see the period separators, these dotted lines that are vertical here. Go back to Monday of last week. Let me draw on it here for you. You can see Monday, it moved lower. Tuesday, it ended up pulling higher at the end of the day, but was very, very sideways to start the day. Wednesday, it moved lower. Thursday, it moved lower. And there was actually a short opportunity here Thursday for the D1. So now coming into Friday, naturally, after seeing it move down overnight from the Asian session into the London session, I'm still going to be short biased when we come to the desk at 5, 5:30, 5:15, or 5:45, 6 o'clock. I'm still going to be looking to see if it'll hold this 50, that blue line there, give me a D1 or an A1. As long as I have a risk point defined, which is why I'm such a big believer in systems. I think a lot of people don't understand how important just a stop loss is to your system. Now, there's multiple pieces to a strategy or system, and we're going to talk about that on Saturday's webinar. But really, if you can just identify a consistent stop loss point, I think your trading will change and become more consistent than it is without that set stop loss, that predetermined stop loss. I've said it that way before. You've probably heard me say that, right? So to go back here, you can see I had my risk point clearly predefined, not just because we had our A1 formation, but also if we just go back to this chart on the 1 minute, you can see because we had our divergence on the D1. So that told me that it should hold this price of 1.21, call it 1.2140 right there, right? I knew that that was the price I wanted it to hold to see if it would come lower. Now, you don't just take the trade because you have a stop loss. You need to see the potential reward, right? Risk, reward. So if we're taking the position here and we're looking to see how far this could go, the next level of resistance or support, whatever you want to call it, the next key level underneath you would be the low of day today, which is very similar to the low of day yesterday. Now, if we were just measuring risk reward from the potential entry point here at 6 o'clock to that yesterday's low price zone, because it's never an exact price, it's always a zone, then you can see we're only looking at about 1.6R, which isn't 2R, 2 to 1. And that's what I like at minimum to take any of my trades. So when I decided to take the position here, I wasn't looking to just go to low of day or go to yesterday's low. I was anticipating that this was going to go all the way down to ADR. ADR is this green horizontal line. You can see at the top that 82 right there. That's our ADR indicator. It's average daily range, right? I have other videos that explain that, so I don't want to linger. But let me show you how this trade developed, how I managed it, and how it ended up working out, because this is a common thing in all of my trade recaps. You'll see what I mean in a second. So the trade ended up moving lower about 45 minutes later. It does pull back, but it holds the 8 and 21. You see how the 8 EMA, which is my yellow line there, it's below the 21 EMA all day from the Asian session into the London session into what I was trading, which was the changeover to the New York session. So as long as the 8 stayed under the 21, I wanted to see if it would hold this price structure level, 1.214, and come lower. So this pullback didn't scare me. And for those of you that are in ASFX, why that pullback didn't scare me was because I saw that I was trading a swapping TDI, meaning it started the day in the buy zone, and right here, it switched into the sell zone. See that? When you're trading a swapping TDI, your probabilities are going to be lower, but you can still find winning trades if you have a strong trend. And this was, like I said, moving down all week. So because it was swapping, I was willing to deal with the pullback. Anytime you see a swapping TDI, instantly your brain should think, okay, this trade's going to be a little bit choppier than a normal trade. So I'm willing to deal with the pullback. It ends up falling for a new low of day here. At most, from the entry point, my trade fell 16 pips, and then it started to turn back higher. Now, why I, at that point, locked my stop loss was because I was already over 1R in profit. I graded this trade because of that swapping liquid 50, a B setup. With B setups, once I'm up 1R, 1.5R, especially on a Friday, I'm taking profit, which I did about 15 pips in profit, and I'm locking my stop. So with a 10 pip stop loss, I'm up 15, that's 1.5R, taking a little bit of my trade, 25% of the trade off, and locking the stop. I can't lose any money. Now, what can happen is it can come back up, stop me out, and then fall. I'm willing to deal with that, just because then I don't lose a lot of my trades with this management strategy, where I lock my stop loss fairly quickly, some people would say. Now, what you're gonna see, which you've seen in some of my recaps, but let me also just say, there are trades where you'll lock the stop, it'll hold, and it'll just fall. It will not come back up and retest. This is one of those trades that ends up coming back up and retesting the entry price, literally right there, just tapping me out with my stop loss and profit, and then it comes right back down. I didn't jump back in short here because this is technically an overextended bar, which is something I avoid. It's part of the checklist that we teach in the course. So I get stopped in profit, it shoots right back down to where I took some profit. A lot of people at that point would feel FOMO and they would want to jump back in. They'd want to go back after this, but you can't do that. You have to trade according to your rules, whatever they are. And if it says lock your stop, take profit, and let it do its thing, if it keeps moving, take profit at the next R multiple and keep moving your stop. Or get stopped in profit and find the next trade. This one ends up just stopping me out in profit. I don't feel any FOMO. I'm happy I won a trade. I took all week waiting for just this one move, and it ended up being a winner. I can't know that it's going to continue to do this as the day goes on, especially because there was high impact USD news. If you look right here at 8:30 on the 15th, there was high impact red folder USD news. That red folder news comes in and ends up being what moves this market lower. Sometimes the news will not work in your favor like that, especially with a swapping liquid 50. Very often you'll see a swapping liquid 50 cause bounce here and cause it to come higher. And what I saw, we had 1 minute bullish divergence, which is a sign that something could change. And on top of that, 1 minute doesn't really scare me that much. But here, look at the 15 minute, how that's rising there. Let me blow it up. That rising with this now falling after I was already in the trade, that showed me divergence. I knew it could just hit this line and bounce higher. So I didn't want to jump back in, and I was happy to take the win. You really have to understand, I took 16 pips, which is like 1.5R, when it fell 50. This is what I talk about when you hear me say, I only want one rib out of the whole rack of ribs. I don't need to eat the whole rack. I'm not a fat ass. I just want my one meaty rib right in the middle that I know is consistent every time I show up to get my ribs.